Before the first star burned in the heavens, before galaxies spun their silent dance, before time itself ticked its very first second, what if I told you that someone was already there? This is the question that has haunted both the greatest minds and the humblest souls. What was before God? It sounds simple, doesn't it? Yet this is the kind of question that shakes everything we think we know about existence. Because deep down, every human being, whether scientist, philosopher, or believer, has looked up to the night sky and wondered, where does God come from? But here's the truth that no one dares to face. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. Think about it for a moment. Your entire life is measured in time. The first cry at birth, the ticking clock of your childhood, the calendar pages turning as you grow older. Everything you know has a beginning and an end. So naturally, when you hear God is eternal, your mind tries to place him on the same line of time. We ask, when did he begin? Where was he before creation? But God doesn't fit on that line. He is the one who drew it. Imagine a child pointing at the horizon and asking, where does the sky end? We smile because we know the sky has no edge. The question is too small for the reality. And in the same way, when we ask, what was before God? Our question is too small for his reality. Science tells us that the universe had a beginning, the Big Bang, an explosion of energy, space, and time itself. But here's the problem. If time began, then there was no before. You can't ask, what happened before time? Because before is a word that only exists inside time. That's why the Bible doesn't try to explain God's origin. It simply declares, before the mountains were born, before you brought forth the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. Psalm 90 verse 2. Do you feel the weight of those words? Not just that God lasts forever, but that he exists outside of time. For him there is no yesterday, no tomorrow, only one eternal now. When Moses asked God for his name, the answer was as mysterious as it was powerful. I am who I am. Exodus 3:14. Not I was, not I will be, just I am. That's it. God is not bound to beginnings or endings. He is not one event in a chain of causes. He is the cause of all causes, the foundation of existence itself. Picture this, a novel filled with characters, drama, beginnings and endings. Every person in that story lives trapped by its timeline. But the author? He exists outside the book. He holds the beginning and the end in his hand. If a character asked what was before the author, it would make no sense. The author isn't in the story. He wrote it. That's exactly how it is with God. Creation is the story. We are the characters. And he is the author, existing beyond every page. But here's the problem. Our hearts crave answers. We want certainty. We want to pin down God into something our minds can grasp. Yet eternity is not something you can measure. It's not endless seconds ticking forever. It's existence outside of time altogether. And when we try to understand that, our brains hit a wall. But maybe that's the point. Maybe God never intended for us to reduce him to our size. Maybe he wants us to stand in awe, to feel the mystery, to admit we are creatures. He is the creator. And here's the part that will break your heart with wonder. The Eternal One stepped into time. Jesus Christ, God himself, entered our timeline. He chose to be born at a specific moment, in a specific place, to show us who he is. The one with no beginning entered a world full of beginnings. The infinite became flesh. The timeless one walked through time so that you and I could know him. Do you see the beauty? The question is not what was before God. The question is, why would the one with no beginning step into our story? And the answer is love. The book of Revelation calls him the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. But don't miss this. He is not just the start and the finish. He is beyond both. Before galaxies swirled, he was. Before atoms formed, he was. Before time ticked, he was. And after all of history comes to its final page, he still is. So when you lie awake at night, wondering if life has meaning, if your struggles matter, if there's something more than this ticking clock, remember, the God who has no before is the same God who holds your future. So let me ask you this. Maybe the real question isn't, where does God come from? Maybe the real question is, where is God leading you? Because if he is the beginning of beginnings, then he is also the end of your searching. He is the one who can give you a future that has no end. O eternal God, who has no beginning and no end, we stand in awe before you. Teach us to rest, not in our understanding, but in our trust. Amen.